It was a normal Monday morning at First National Bank in Nashville, and David Thompson was handling his retirement pension transactions. Quiet, polite, a completely unremarkable 62-year-old retired mailman. Then, 4 armed men burst in, and what happened in the next 8 minutes would shake all of Nashville and reveal the terrifying secret David Thompson had hidden for 30 years. But before we dive into this breathtaking story, please let us know in the comments which city you're watching from. And if you believe real heroes deserve recognition, hit that like button and subscribe, because in the next video, we'll tell you an incredible story. David Thompson's days always began with the same routine. He'd wake up at 6:30 a.m., brew his coffee, read the Nashville, Tennessean newspaper. He lived alone in his small house in the Green Hills neighborhood after losing his wife Margaret to cancer 3 years ago. They had no children, just a few close friends and familiar faces at First National Bank, where he went every Monday morning. People knew David as the gentle mailman. He had worked the same route for 35 years, knew every dog's name, and would deliver medications right to elderly ladies' doors. Even after retirement, he was seen as a respected member of the community. He volunteered at church and helped neighbors with their yard work. No one knew details about David's military background. He would only say, "I served in Vietnam," and wouldn't elaborate further. The photographs, medals, and official documents he kept locked in his basement closet told the story of a very different David Thompson. 1976 to 2001, 25 years, United States Marine Corps, Force Reconnaissance, one of the world's most elite special operations units. When David left the small Virginia farm at 18, he was just a young man seeking adventure. When he returned, he never truly returned. He was a completely different person. It all started in Vietnam, 1977 to 1979, one of Force Recon's youngest operators. Then, the 1980s in Central America, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras, missions that didn't exist in official records, joint operations with the CIA, the 1990s in the Balkans, Bosnia, Kosovo. His final assignment before retiring in 2001. Afghanistan. David had never married during those years. Only missions, only operations. He earned the nickname Ghost in Vietnam, moving silently through the night darkness, finding his target and vanishing without a trace. For 25 years he traveled the world, but never found home anywhere. When he retired in 2001 and returned to Nashville, he decided to build a completely different life. He applied to be a mailman. Quiet, routine, harmless work. He met Margaret, a librarian who loved books, a calm woman. For the first time, he fell in love. For the first time, he lived a normal life. Margaret never fully learned David's true past. David was different around her, gentle, protective, loving. He tried to completely bury his warrior identity. For 20 years, he succeeded. After Margaret's death, David was alone again, but it was a different kind of loneliness. The old David had completely disappeared. Only the retired mailman remained until that Monday morning. When he entered First National Bank at 10:15 a.m., everything was normal. There were lines at the tellers, customer service representatives working at their desks, security guard Marcus Johnson standing by the door. David chatted with Marcus every week. Young man, father of 2, working part-time security during the night shift. "Good morning, Mr. Thompson," Marcus smiled. "Pension business again?" "Yes, Marcus, same as always. Give my regards to your family." David got in line. An elderly lady was in front of him, a young couple behind him. A normal Monday morning, until the outer door opened again. The first thing he noticed was the sound. Footsteps, fast, determined, coordinated. 4 people, simultaneously, same rhythm. David's old training automatically kicked in. Without turning his head, he checked the door with his peripheral vision. 4 men, in their 20s and 30s, hooded sweatshirts, gloves. He couldn't see their faces clearly, but their body language sent danger signal. The first appeared to be the leader, kept his right hand in his pocket. The second and third were spreading in different directions. The fourth stayed by the door. David's pulse didn't quicken. 25 years of training took him again. He quietly began scanning the environment. How many people total in the bank? 23. Exit point, main door, emergency door in back, staff door on right side. Threat level? Still unclear, but escalating. Everyone down. When the first shout came, David was ready. The leader had drawn his pistol, pointed it in the air. Glock 17. The other 3 were also armed. 2 with pistols, 1 with an Uzi submachine gun. Panic began. People started screaming, running around. The elderly lady in front of David fell to the ground, trembling and crying. The young couple hugged each other in fear. "I said everyone down!" The second robber fired the Uzi into the air. Ceiling glass shattered. Now everyone was on the ground, hands behind their heads. David also lay down, but in a different position, apparently scared like the others, but actually continuing to observe his surroundings. Where was security guard Marcus? on the right side, behind the tellers, hopefully already calling police. The lead robber walked to the tellers. "Open the registers. Now." One of the tellers, a young girl, Sarah, stood up trembling. Please don't hurt us. We'll do whatever you want." "Open the registers. Where's the money?" David continued assessing the situation. 4 robbers. Didn't look professional. Their movements weren't coordinated. Very tense. Inexperienced. This made them more dangerous. They might fire in panic. The leader, David, dubbed him Tyler, was clearly in charge of the group, but couldn't maintain control. The second robber, Marcus, to avoid confusion with the security guard's name, he thought Jack, was overly aggressive, waving the Uzi randomly. The third, Danny, was watching the door, but checking outside too much, couldn't concentrate on the interior. The fourth, Ray, seemed calmest, but he noticed his hands were shaking. Sarah opened the register, about $15,000 inside. Tyler started stuffing the money into a bag. "That's it!" Tyler shouted. "There should be more." "The big safe is in back," Sarah whimpered. "But the manager has the keys." "Where's the manager?" Sarah pointed to the office. Tyler signaled to Jack. "Go get the manager." This was the moment David was waiting for. The robbers were starting to spread out, dividing their attention. As Jack moved toward the manager's office, Tyler focused on collecting money from the register. Danny still watched the door. Ray monitored the hostages. David slowly changed position. Still apparently a scared retiree lying on the ground, but actually beginning to move into attack position. The nearest threat was Ray, 8 meters away, with 2 rows of seats between David and him. Jack shouted from the manager's office. "Manager's not here." Tyler was starting to lose his temper. "What do you mean, not here?" "At a meeting." "At another branch." "What kind of operation is this?" Tyler walked toward Sarah, pointing the gun at her. "You're going to open that safe." "I can't. The manager has the keys. I don't know the combination." Tyler put the gun to Sarah's head. "Then you better start learning." David's old instincts fully kicked in. Hostage life in danger. Robber losing control. Police not here yet. Time to act. But David Thompson was no longer the 25-year-old special operations soldier. At 62, his physical condition wasn't what it used to be. His reflexes might have slowed. He hadn't used a weapon in 30 years. Hadn't done combat training. Then Tyler slapped Sarah. At that moment, all of David Thompson's experience, all his training, all his deadly abilities returned. The warrior spirit that had been frozen inside him since Margaret's death was reborn. Time to move. David quietly stood up. Ray hadn't noticed. He was focused on Jack's shouting from the manager's office. David circled right to approach Ray from behind the seats. First move. He approached Ray from behind. Left arm wrapped around Ray's throat. Silent chokehold. Right hand controlled Ray's weapon. In 1.5 seconds Ray was neutralized, unconscious. David took Ray's Glock 17. Second move. Tyler was still threatening Sarah, his back turned to David. David quietly approached, put the gun to Tyler's neck. "Drop your weapon." Tyler froze. He couldn't believe where the voice was coming from. That scared, retired mailman. "Who are you?" Tyler whispered. "I said drop your weapon." Tyler's gun started trembling. You're just a mailman." "I was a mailman." When Jack came out of the manager's office, he saw the scene. Ray unconscious on the ground, David Thompson at Tyler's neck. "What the hell is going on here?" "Tell your friend to drop his weapon too," David told Tyler calmly. Tyler was soaked with sweat. "Jack, drop your gun." "What? What does this mean?" "Drop it." Jack, confused, put the Uzi on the ground. Danny at the door was trying to understand what was happening. "Tyler, what are we doing?" David whispered to Tyler. "Now you're going to tell your friend at the door to drop his weapon too. Quietly. No one will get hurt." Tyler looked at Danny, trembling. "Danny, drop your gun." "What? Why?" "Drop it." Danny, surprised, put his pistol on the ground. David had neutralized all 4 robbers in 90 seconds without firing a shot, without killing anyone. Just then, police sirens were heard. Marcus, the security guard, had followed the plan, called the police. "Everyone stay calm," David spoke loudly. "The danger is over." Tyler was still in shock. "Who are you? Who are you, really?" David took Tyler's weapon, put it with the other weapons aside. "I was someone different 25 years ago, but now I'm just a retired mailman." Nashville Metro Police arrived 3 minutes later. When Detective Lisa Harper first entered, the scene she encountered was surprising. 4 robbers on the ground, hands behind their backs. David Thompson waiting calmly, 23 hostages safe. Mr. Thompson, Detective Harper asked, "How did this happen?" David smiled. "I was lucky. This wasn't luck. This was a professional operation. Have you encountered situations like this before?" David was quiet for a long time. "I used to have a different job." The next day, the Nashville, Tennessean headline read, "Retired Mailman Hero of Bank Robbery." But the real story emerged a week later. Journalist Michael Rogers, researching David's military records, accessed Pentagon archives, classified documents, secret missions, Force Recon. "Mr. Thompson," Michael asked, "is it true you served 25 years in Marine Force Reconnaissance?" David was sitting on his porch, sipping his coffee. "That was a long time ago. According to these records, you served in the world's most dangerous regions: Vietnam, Central America, the Balkans, Afghanistan. It was my duty. Why do you never talk about it?" David was quiet for a long time. He looked at Margaret's photo, sitting on the side table, because that David no longer exists. That David lived for wars. This David, Mailman David, lived to love. But in that bank, that David came back, only because it was necessary. 23 people were in danger. The story made national news. CNN, Fox News, NBC all covered the retired mailman who hid his heroism story. David declined all television interview requests. But for Nashville residents, he was no longer just a mailman. Starting that week, people began seeing him with different eyes. Children started calling him Hero Grandpa. Veteran organizations reached out to him. David didn't change. He still maintained the same routine: morning coffee, newspaper, Monday morning bank visits. But now everyone at First National Bank knew him. Sarah the teller thanked David every time she saw him. Marcus, the security guard, asked him one day, "Mr. Thompson, weren't you scared that day?" David thought, "I was scared, Marcus. But sometimes being scared becomes less important than doing the right thing." 6 months later, David went to Margaret's grave. He left flowers, sat quietly. "Meg," he said quietly, "that day I became that man again. But I haven't given up on the man I changed into for you. Just sometimes old David is needed to protect good people." The wind scattered leaves. David stood up, looked at the grave one last time. "I love you, and I know you would have wanted those 23 people to be saved." Walking home through Nashville's streets, David Thompson was still a retired mailman, but now he knew that when necessary, that old David, protective David, warrior David, was still there. Real heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear mailman uniforms and wait ready to protect the people they love, hiding their deadly secrets for 25 years. If you think David's story honors all veterans, hit the like button. Or, if you think real heroes always stay hidden, leave a comment. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe, because in the next video, we'll tell you an incredible story.